All right. Hello. You are here. Perhaps you find yourself as the personal representative, the executor, or the administrator of an estate, and you found that your estate has a considerable amount of debt, and perhaps the estate has a few assets in it that you might be able to sell, liquidate, so that you can pay off the estate. That happens quite often, where there's usually property, real property, in an estate that's either left behind, and because of the debt, it makes the most sense to um, to actually sell the property. So, what we're going to do today is talk about that and come up or show you 7 things to think about if you need to sell your house fast for cash to pay the estate's debt in North Carolina. I'm Courtney Rollins, the Life and Transitions Experts podcast host and the owner and operator of Estate Pro Service and Do Our Ideals, where we help folks solve problems and create income and wealth, usually through the power of real estate. So let's take a look at some of the things that you can consider and hope that you do consider. Now, disclaimer, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving uh, that type of advice here. I'm just sharing my opinion and my experience uh, working in this space for a good amount of time. So let's see. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and assess the value of the home. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. There's a lot of software. You may want to consider a professional appraiser. Sometimes you want to engage with a real estate agent, which is probably the best route to go. They can give you comparable sales. Usually, if it's a property that is a traditional residential property and not commercial, you will base the value on it on the like properties in that same area and how much they are currently selling for and the current condition of that property, and you can get a pretty good assessment. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Zillow Z estimate because the even though it's getting better over time, the Z estimate is not always an accurate um, assessment. You can look at recent sales of similar homes, whether they're like the same type of build, same bed, same baths, within about a 200-foot square feet, give or take, and see what the properties are selling for. And if you get about 4 or 5 of those, you can get a good assessment there. Or you can reach out to me or any cash buyer folks out there. And again, like I said, real estate agents are also great for this to find out what the value of your home is in its current condition. You also will need to prepare the house. Now, if this is someone who's left his house behind, it may, especially depending on the population, because sometimes people who are passing away are quite often older, and sometimes those houses are lived in. That's not always the case, but regardless, there may be some repairs necessary to get it in its best condition, or you may want to especially tidy up the outside exterior, because quite honest, that has a lot more to do with perceived value than actually going in and spending some time and energy and money into fixing up space, the property, and other aspects of the property, which may not necessarily help you get increased value. So putting more time in the what they call the curb appeal may be more helpful than actually managing contractors or doing yourself fixing bathrooms and kitchens and things of nature. But again, it depends on what your goal is. We're talking about selling the house fast for cash. If you were talking about a more traditional route, then perhaps you do want to invest that time and energy so you can get maximize force the value there. And still, you need to be very careful because sometimes people will be surprised with the investments and their return or lack of return on investment when they're putting a lot into a house to get it fixed up to sell. And again, we're talking about situations where the estate needs to respond to claims to debt in the estate. All right. Number three, you can always find a cash buyer, estate pro service or cash buyers in the North Carolina area. We also work in Baltimore, Maryland, but you can just type in cash buyer in your area and you will find a ton of folks who are looking. You may even be already be uh, connected to or someone's reaching out to you. Make sure you vet them, make sure that they're trusted, make sure that they do what they say they're going to do. And this is a great resource because quite often the cash buyer is the one there with cash, able to move in quickly and swiftly, so that you can have the funds that you need either to pay off the debt and or to distribute to the beneficiaries. Now, marketing the property effectively is also very important. We have a great resource called Facebook where you can put it on Marketplace. You can still use Craigslist. You can rely on real estate um, uh, agents again, and where they can put it out there. Again, some agents may shy away from properties that are perhaps of lesser value. And again, these might be properties that have need work done to them. You're trying to sell it as is and quickly as possible. But there are a lot of great real estate professionals who will put it on the market for you and market aggressively and effectively for you. Cash sales and get the right eyes on there so that you can have a hassle-free, hopefully, transaction. Note that you will need to pay a real estate commission in that way. Again, number three, the cash buyer, usually one of the benefits is that there's no real estate commission and you get to put a little more money into the estate where you're trying to make it go. Yeah. Now, you need to also consider that trading speed and convenience is usually going to come with a discounted price. So, quite often, these properties need a little bit of love or need a lot of love. And you may find that, hey, the actual headache of dealing with that is not worth the time, particularly when you're facing different issues from debtors or you're trying to unlock the equity so that you can pass on that capital to the heirs. So, may want to consider speed and convenience for a discounted price. Also, you need to be able to negotiate the sale. Just because you have a property you need to move quickly doesn't mean you just give it away, though. You can negotiate. Perhaps there's valuable items to you personally or in real that's inside the property. You can negotiate with the cash buyer to have them moved for you. Perhaps there's a tenant in there and it's not paying, and you need someone who's going to be able to come in and take it over without having it be vacant. There are a lot of different concessions that can go in and recognize that you can negotiate any and everything. All right. So be willing to negotiate. And that's another reason why it may be cool to work with a real estate agent or work with a trusted cash buyer so that you're someone who actually cares and actually is going to not try to beat you over the head. The other thing is we're talking about probate, so this probably should have been number one, but make sure that I would highly recommend that you have an estate account. If you're the personal representative, you can open up an account. Sometimes you can even transfer the decedent may have an account at a bank and they may let you just transfer it over to the estate's account. This way you can have the purchase go directly to that account and pay out the debt through that account, which makes the record keeping a lot easier when you're doing the accounting stage in North Carolina, and I'm sure across the nation where probate has different nuances but is relatively the same as far as the process goes. All right. So if you're looking for cash buyers, definitely check out good old Google. You can definitely also check out State Pro Service. We try to take our head, and heads on approach to helping folks through the process. And when it comes to coming up with options, we don't consider ourselves always the first or best option for you, but we do try to present as many options for you so that you can make an informed decision. And quite often that is with the State Pro Service, but definitely want you to have some resources out there. Hope this is helpful to you. If you are looking at this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, what you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to share as much content as we can to help people understand the power of thinking about planning their estate as well as options that they have when it comes uh, to their home if they're looking for a quick sale or even if they're looking for keeping the property. We try to help out as much as we can. We'd love to like, we'd love to subscribe in every space that you see this Facebook group, Life and Transition Experts Podcast or Experts Group, and the YouTube channel, as I said. And feel free to reach out if you have some content or things that you want to address. If you want to reach out to me, I don't charge anything. I can sit down and have a conversation with you about your situation, hopefully point you in the right direction with what you're doing. Feel free to go to estateproservice.com and sign up for a free meeting. Love to connect with you. And until then, life and transitions experts, let your light shine. Cheers.